Life as a neurodivergent or autism parent may not be ordinary for everyone, but it's your NeurOrdinary. This is your space to find resilience, self-care, and maybe even a little bit of peace. Because when you care for yourself, you care for everything that matters most. Hey there, and welcome to another episode of NeurOrdinary. I'm Karen Casso, your self-care and resilience coach, here to guide you through the beautiful, challenging, and often overwhelming journey of parenting while navigating neurodivergence, whether that's your own, your partner's, or your kiddos'. I'm so glad you're here because today's topic is something I feel passionately about, the ripple effect of self-care. Let me ask you a question. How often do you hear yourself say or think, I don't have time for self-care? If you're anything like most parents I talk to, it's probably more often than you'd like. But here's the thing, prioritizing yourself isn't selfish. In fact, when you care for yourself, the positive effects extend far beyond you. They ripple outward, influencing your mood, your parenting, and even your family's overall well-being. In today's episode, we're going to explore exactly how taking care of yourself creates these ripples. You'll learn practical strategies for incorporating self-care into your life and see how even small changes can lead to big shifts for your family. By the end of our time together, I hope you'll feel inspired to prioritize yourself, not just for your own sake, but for the people you love most. Before we dive in, let me share a quick story. A parent I worked with, let's call her Megan, came to me feeling completely depleted. Her days were consumed by therapy appointments, school meetings, endless caregiving tasks. She felt guilty every time she thought about doing something for herself. And she told me she was too tired to even try. But once Megan started taking small steps towards self-care, she noticed something incredible. Her patience grew, her connection with her child deepened, and her home felt calmer. And she had more energy to devote to her self-care. That's the ripple effect in action, and it's what we'll be talking about today. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, settle in, and let's dive into how caring for yourself can transform not just your life, but your family's as well. And the first thing I want to talk about is that self-care improves emotional regulation. Let's start with one of the most immediate ways that self-care is going to impact your family, is that it helps you manage your own emotions. When you're constantly running on empty, it's easy to feel irritable, overwhelmed, and reactive. But when you take even a little time to recharge, you're better equipped to handle life's challenges with patience and calm. Imagine your child's having a meltdown. You're already at your wit's end. You're running on caffeine and stress, and snapping feels inevitable. Now, contrast that with the day where you've had even a few minutes to yourself. Maybe you practiced a breathing exercise, journaled, or enjoyed a quiet moment with your morning coffee. That small act of care helps you enter the meltdown situation with more bandwidth and emotional resilience. One parent I know, Laura, started taking 5 minutes every morning to sit quietly and practice gratitude. She told me, I didn't think 5 minutes would make a difference, but it does. I'm calmer when my kids need me, and I don't feel like I'm constantly on the edge. Here's why it works. When you care for yourself, you're teaching your brain and your body how to regulate stress. This doesn't just benefit you, it creates a calmer environment for your family too. And if your challenge is, I don't even have 5 minutes, start with 1 minute. Use your reset breath. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for a count of 4, then exhale for 6 seconds. Pair it with something you already do, like waiting for your coffee to brew or brushing your teeth. Start small, but start somewhere, because emotional regulation is a skill that grows with practice. And the more you invest in your own well-being, the more you will notice how positive shifts in how you handle the tough moments impact everything around you. Reason number 2, modeling healthy habits for your family. Another powerful ripple effect of self-care is the example you set for your family. When your children see you prioritizing your needs, they learn that self-care is a normal, healthy part of life. This is especially important for neurodivergent kids who may struggle with understanding boundaries and emotional self-regulation. Take my client James, for example. He started setting a boundary that every evening after dinner, he would take 10 minutes to read a book, listen to music, chill out by himself. At first, his kids resisted, but over time, they saw that this routine made James happier, more present during family time. Soon, his daughter began creating her own version of self-care, taking a few minutes each day to color quietly while he was reading. Don't discount that side-by-side time with your kids. And here's why it works. Kids learn by watching. When you show them that it's okay to rest, recharge, and set boundaries, you're teaching them lifelong skills they'll carry with them. And if you're saying,
I feel guilty setting boundaries with my kids. Frame it as a positive. For example, I'm going to take 10 minutes to relax so I can be my best self for you. Over time, your kids will come to respect and possibly even emulate these habits. And honestly, better that you set some intentional boundaries to get the time and space you need to feel your best rather than blow up when you don't get that time to yourself. And yeah, we've all been there, me included, and there is no judgment here. We're all just doing the best we can in the moment with what we have. The thing about self care is it builds your resilience and makes those moments of stress and outbursts fewer and farther between. Remember, you're not just taking care of yourself, you're showing your family how to care for themselves too. And that's a gift that will serve them for a lifetime. Reason number 3, strengthening family connections through presence. When you're exhausted and overwhelmed, it's hard, if not impossible, to be fully present with your family. But when you take steps to recharge, you're better able to engage meaningfully with your loved ones. Let's talk about Megan again. Before prioritizing self-care, she felt like she was going through the motions, physically there, but emotionally distant. After incorporating small acts of self-care like journaling, practicing mindfulness, she noticed a shift. I'm more present with my son now, she said. When he talks to me, I'm really listening instead of thinking about everything I need to do. Or you could be like me. So burnt out, I literally can't focus on what my kids are saying to me, especially if they're talking about Minecraft or Lego. And here's why it works. Self-care gives you the capacity to be present. When you're not running on empty, you can truly show up for your family, creating deeper connections and stronger relationships. Now, one of the most common things I hear my clients telling me, besides how tired they are, is that they feel selfish for taking time for themselves. You need to reframe that. Reframe self-care as an investment in your family's well-being. When you are recharged as the caregiver, you're able to give your best to the people you love most. And presence is one of the greatest gifts you can give your family. By caring for yourself, you're creating the emotional space to connect more deeply with them in the ways that matter most to them and to you. And the final ripple effect we'll talk about today is how your self-care directly impacts the overall tone and vibe of your home. When you're calm and grounded, that energy naturally spreads to your family. On the flip side, when you're stressed, overwhelmed, running on fumes, that energy can ripple out just as strongly, sometimes in ways you don't even realize until later. You know, if a morning starts with a meltdown, either yours or your kiddos, doesn't really matter. You're running late, the backpack is still unpacked, and someone can't find their shoes. Emotions are running high. Before you know it, everyone in the house feels frazzled. If you, as the caregiver and parent, are already stressed, it's easy for that tension to escalate. A raised voice here, a slammed door there, and suddenly the whole morning feels like a chain reaction of frustration. Now imagine the same scenario, but with a small shift. Let's say you've taken just 60 seconds to center yourself before the chaos begins. Maybe it's a quick breathing exercise, a moment of mindfulness while you're brushing your teeth. You're still running late, and yes, the shoes are still missing, but you approach the situation differently. Instead of escalating the tension, you find yourself pausing, taking a breath, and responding calmly. That calm energy can diffuse the stress for everyone else too. This isn't about magically fixing every chaotic moment. It's about creating space to respond rather than react. And that small change can make all the difference. Why does it work? Because emotions are contagious, especially for neurodivergent brains, both big and small. When you're regulated, you model calmness for your family, and you show them how to navigate challenges without letting stress take over. Your energy sets the tone for your household, and even small steps towards self-care create a ripple of calm that influences everyone around you. And let's be real, if your household feels anything like mine, you might be thinking, Karen, it feels chaotic here no matter what I do. I hear you. Chaos happens. Life with kids, especially neurodivergent ones, often feels like a roller coaster that just does not stop. But here's the key. Focus on what's within your control. You can eliminate every stressor, and you can't always predict when the next meltdown or unexpected disaster is going to strike. But you can control how you respond to those moments. Start with one small habit that anchors you in calmness, like a daily gratitude practice or the reset breath. These tiny acts of self-care don't just help you. They set the tone for your home. Here's an example. I I worked with a mom who describes her mornings as, and I'm quoting here, pure chaos. She started practicing the reset breath during the 30 seconds it took to pour cereal into bowls. She thought it wouldn't make much of a difference, but it did. She told me that one breath slows everything down for me. When I'm calmer, my kids notice. It doesn't fix everything, but it makes the chaos feel manageable. Another parent I work with created a calm zone for herself, a small corner in her home where she could step away for 2 to 3 minutes when things got too overwhelming. She didn't have a lot of space, so her calm zone was just a chair, cozy blanket, and a pair of noise-canceling headphones. But those few minutes to regroup helped her reset, and it helped her kids to quickly learn to recognize when mom needs her calm time. Eventually, they even started creating their own mini calm zones. It's important to remember that calm does not mean perfection. Your house might still be loud, feel busy, and be messy, but small intentional acts of self-care can shift the overall energy in powerful ways. Truly, the chaos is unlikely to ever disappear completely, but the way you experience it changes. So if you're thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm already overwhelmed, I'm just trying to get through the day, here's my advice. Start small. Pick one simple action that feels achievable. Maybe it's 3 deep breaths before getting out of bed in the morning, or writing down one thing you're grateful for at the end of the day. These aren't huge gestures. They're practical, manageable, small ways to reclaim a sense of calm amidst the chaos. And your calm is a gift to your family. It's a reminder that even in the busiest, messiest moments, peace is possible when you take care of yourself. You're not just helping yourself. You're creating a more peaceful and supportive home environment for everyone you live with. And here's the best part. This isn't an all or nothing effort. Some days will feel calmer than others. Some days that deep breath might be all you can manage, and that's okay. Every small step toward creating self-care for you adds up, and it creates ripples that make your household a little lighter and your heart a little fuller. So let's recap what we've learned today about the ripple effect of self-care. Self-care improves emotional regulation. When you take time to recharge, you're better equipped to handle stress and challenges, and that helps create a calmer environment for your family. Self-care models healthy habits for your family. By prioritizing yourself, you teach your children the value of boundaries, rest, and emotional well-being. Self-care strengthens family connections through presence because it gives you the capacity to truly engage with your loved ones, and that helps deepen your relationships. And self-care reduces stress in your household. Your calm energy can influence the entire tone of your home, and it helps create a more peaceful and supportive environment. The ripple effect of self-care is real, and it starts with small intentional steps. When you care for yourself, you're not just benefiting your own well-being, you're positively impacting your entire family. And here's the most important takeaway. You deserve this. You deserve care, rest, and moments of peace just as much as anyone else in your family. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to join my Substack community, the Self-Care Support Squad. For just $7 a month, you'll get access to live coaching calls, exclusive articles, and a supportive space where we share tips, celebrate wins, and remind each other that we are not alone. You can find the link in the show notes below. Thank you for taking this time for yourself today. Until next week, keep it spicy, and remember, your care matters, and it creates ripples of love, strength, and calm that reach far beyond you. Thanks for tuning into the NeurOrdinary podcast. New episodes drop every Thursday, so be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps me reach more amazing neurodivergent and autism parents like you. Found this episode helpful? Share it with a friend who could use these insights. And as always, keep it spicy.